Okay guys, I'm going to start my major part of my videos with a quick run through on my own car here. This is a 73 Dart Swinger, an LH23 car, and I'll just kind of start from the bottom and work my way up and then to the inside. So what we've got is a 355 geared sure grip rear end. It's an original 73, 74, 8 1/4. Springs are moved in to fit the 9.5 wide rear tires and rims. Those are Riddler 695 gray series with 245 40 18s on the back and 225 40 17s on the front. So then we'll work our way around to the back here. Oh yeah, we have disc brakes, 4-wheel disc brakes. Those are Cherokee brakes. They bolt right onto the 8 1/4 rear end. You just need longer studs for your wheels by about a 1/2 inch. Okay, my trunk and my kick butt speaker system back here all mounted down solid so it doesn't move. My accessories, fender covers and jack. These are my custom tail lights and backup lights that I made. Those are Lexan LEDs inside. The backup lights are sunlight LEDs, LED strip, and they have a little bit of a purple hue to them when they're on. My trunk light, I moved that to a daylight LED strip right up here behind the latch, so you don't really ever see it unless you duck down to look. But it lights up the entire trunk and 4 or 5 feet around the back of the car. Okay, so working our way forward here, transmission in this car is a 42 RH overdrive out of a Dakota truck. It's out of a 96 Dakota. And we'll work our way on up here. There's my hood scoop. That's glassed to the hood plus bolted. And on the inside, it is, I drilled the hood and used the fiberglass to go right through the metal to help hold the scoop to the hood seamlessly like that. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but the grill in the hood scoop matches the grill on the front of the car. Okay. Turn signals and marker lights in the front, same thing. Lexan smoke covered over orange LED lenses. We've got in the engine compartment, we have a 596 5.9 Magnum out of a Ram 1500 truck, and EQ heads that are drilled for LA intakes and everything, so the engine is disguised as an LA motor, but it's actually a Magnum under all that LA stuff. Got a nice Holley of Street Avenger 770 under there, dual inlet, electric choke, single pump, vacuum secondary carb with the custom vacuum secondary spring cap on it. This has a Hughes valve train, springs and locks and all that good stuff. Oregon cam grinders, cam 214 224 at 50 with a 512 lift. Works out really good, has lots of torque. This is my recovery tank here, kind of shotgun shell. Anyway, it was a thermos turned into a recovery tank, and it's all plumbed in the bottom, so you don't see any fittings or any of that junk. And it's drilled up inside the cap between the layers, so it overflows down between the layers and comes out the bottom where the fittings are. Headman 1 5/8 tube headers into 2.5 inch dual exhaust, crossed through each other and out both sides here. The baloney cut tip, I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's it right there. All the windows have been redone with custom rollers, And I can explain that further if anybody wants to know, but the windows are nice and tight in it. Okay. You can actually close the door with the window at corner without the window even hardly moving at all. I've got the GM HEI set up right there. Been running that for 5 years flawlessly. Not a problem one with it. I've got a stock electronic distributor. It is timing limited, total timing limited, and has custom advanced springs in it. Also, you might see that I slotted the screw holes for the base plate so I can vary the phasing of the rotor if I want to. I don't run a fusible link wire. I use a 30 amp resetting circuit breaker right there. This is my relays for my fan switch, thermal switch, and all that, which is right here. I can set the temperature I want the fan to go on and off at. It's completely automatic, don't have to touch anything. Power steering. Let's see, anything else up here? Oh yeah, this is my idle setup that I mentioned, where I can set the idle from inside the car or wherever I want it. It just pushes against the bottom of the linkage right there when I screw in the knob inside the car. Unscrew the knob, it comes back to the normal base idle setting, whatever it's set at. Okay, so we will move into the inside of the car a little more. You can see my custom carbon fiber dash caps. That was all built on my kitchen table. And it's real carbon fiber. It's not stick-on stuff. Okay, we'll move to the inside. This is what I was talking about the windows. Nice and solid. Doesn't flop around. Closes real nice. Not floppy. Good and solid. And I can explain how to make those rollers later if anybody wants to check into that. Okay, these are Recaro's 11-way adjustable bucket seats from a BMW. They adjust in just about every position you want, including laying flat all the way back. It's almost like a cot when you have the thigh extensions out and a pillow on that headrest. It's pretty much like a little cot bed. Okay, so moving to the inside. I built all of this on my office desk in there. Those are custom gauges, aftermarket gauges on the left side there, the 3 gauges, but they're in the original gauge holes there. And the glass for covering that speedometer is Lexan, because the glass was faded. It takes a little bit of modification on the back of the panel there to fit a flat Lexan piece in there. And I was a little concerned about it reflecting back at me, but it doesn't. So I think somebody 4 foot tall might get a little reflection back, but I don't get any on it. I needed a clock at view all the time, so I put a extra clock in the car there, and I had to paint the arms and everything to match the rest of the gauges and stuff. This right here is my phone dock. Pop my iPhone in there, it connects to my stereo. Calls or anything like that come over the stereo, all hands free. It also gives me touch screen and turn-by-turn directions right there. It'll fade the music down, and the turn-by-turn voice will say what it needs to say, and then the music fades back up again. My custom cluster here, my tack, my line lock activation light, my air-fuel ratio, and my gas gauge, all right there, and the stereo down here. This stereo didn't have a rear plug-in for auxiliary, so I had to make a little plug there for it. But one of these days I'll get a newer stereo and I won't need to do any of that. But that dock charges my phone at the same time it connects everything to the stereo, so that works out good. Here's my shifter right here. This is a Hurst ProMatic 2, and those switches either put overdrive and converter lockup completely automatic or off, so I can bypass them completely. The transmission works like an A999 with the low gear first gear set. Like I said, if those switches are in the up position, the car will shift through all gears, overdrive, and lockup at the speeds I set the switches at up there under the dash. I mean under the hood. And that's basically the whole thing there. This is the original headliner in the car.